Okay, so what we're going to teach you in this video is how to blur any video that you have. So if you have some sort of preview for any of your content that you want portions of it to be blurred for whatever reason, or if you film something in public and you want to blur people's faces in the background or anything like that, this is just a basic overview of how to do that, how to blur just sections, little segments of your video, little just individual faces, whatever, using this free program called DaVinci Resolve. You can download it for free and it works really well. There are other programs that are probably a little bit easier to use in terms of being more automated, but this one works great. So what you're going to do is you're just going to first import whatever video you have, and then you can get started. So this is the video we've got. It's just me moving my hand around just for an example. So I'm just moving my hand around, the frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to blur just my hand, and you'll see how we can blur it even though I'm moving around, the blur will follow my hand. So the first thing you're going to do is drag your video from the little import area to the timeline. Then what you do is you click on your video on the timeline, you hold Alt, and then you expand it. Okay? So then what that does is it creates a layer of your video. So you've got the video, and then you've got the part that you're going to be blurring. Okay, now select the top expanded part of your video, you see in red. Have that part selected. Now go down to the color tab on the very bottom of DaVinci Resolve. Click that. And then from there, you have your little video. Have that selected. Then you right click on that and add a node. Add serial node. And then make sure this serial node is the selected little thing you've got up in the clip window. You want to make sure that part is selected. And then on the right hand side under the effects, you can choose what type of blur you want. We're going to use mosaic blur in this video, but you can use a bunch of different types of blur, whatever the aesthetic is that you like. The mosaic is the kind of like pixelated type blur. So what you do then is you click and drag that blur onto your node, and then you can adjust the pixel frequency, so like how blurry basically it is, down from like tiny little pixels to the big ones that are just basically you can't see anything. So when you get to a blur kind of intensity that you like, then you can move to the next step. So at the next step, you click this like window button. It looks like a little circle with 4 dots on it. You click that, and in that area you can select what shape you want. So you could do a square, blur, you can do a circular blur. Circular tends to look a little bit more natural, so we're choosing the circular blur. Once you do that, you can select the area of the video that you want blurred. So like I said, we're doing a hand here, just my hand. So click and drag until that circle is around the hand, and you can just see that the hand is blurred, or whatever area in your video that you want blurred, just so it's just selecting that part. And you can adjust the size obviously with the little corner things that you can click and drag. So then what we're going to do is we're going to add keyframes, and all that means is it's just going to be, we're just going to select points throughout the video where my hand has moved from point A to point B, and we're just going to basically tell the program that, look, the hand's moved, so let's move the blur, and we show it where we want the blur to move. So we're adding the first keyframe here, which is the starting point of this video. So right click and add static keyframe. So now I move my hand up. So you go to, basically this red bar drags you along the timeline of the video. And so you can use that red bar to go to a different point in the video where you want to move the blur. So now that my hand's moved up and you can see my fingertips, we're going to move the blur up, and then we're going to right click and add another keyframe. And we're just going to keep doing that as my hand moves along the path that I moved my hand along during this video. Adding keyframes as we go. Okay, so now that we have added all of the keyframes, what we're going to do is we're just going to watch through the whole video just to make sure that there's not any spots that we missed, that the hand is unblurred. Like there's a little spot there where the fingertips are, and you can just go in and edit that, add another keyframe as you find necessary. There's another little spot right here. And you can go through slowly as you see necessary and make little minor adjustments to make sure that it's perfect, or at least, as perfect as you care to make it. So we had another little fingertip blip, but whatever, it doesn't matter for the purposes of this video. Once you're done there, all you need to do is export the video. And one thing to note is this program tends to make your file sizes kind of huge. So when you export the video, just keep that in mind. You can use this YouTube 1080p, like they have these kind of like preset resolutions for different platforms. So the YouTube one works great for most platforms, so you can just select the YouTube 1080p as your preset and it'll export your video to a reasonable file size that should not exceed any sort of file size limits for most websites. And so that's it. You export it and you're good to go. So if you have any questions, just leave a comment and let us know, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.